we're switching things up a bit. We're going to meet our guest outside. Enjoy! So, hi everyone, welcome to the Inspiring Ones TV show. On today's episode, we actually have, as you can see, the first male on the show. His name is Mr. Beau Pinto, and
Hey guys.
he's inspiring one, hence he's on the show, but he's also hilarious. Now he's a businessman, but if you follow him on Instagram, there's never a dull moment with Beau. So I'm going to let you meet him for yourself. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. Hi Beau, tell us about yourself.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Beau Pinto. I'm a millennial entrepreneur from Toronto, Canada. By millennial entrepreneur, what that means is that I do most of my work from home and in my underwear. I spent pretty much the last 3 years just helping people take social media and learn to use it as a tool. And the tool that it really is, and helping them use that tool to just enhance the results in their life. And it's been really working well for me. So, and I can do that from home. So I'm pretty happy about that, because my entire life, my mom worked 3 jobs to kind of come up with nothing at the end, right? I mean, she has us, and that's great, but she worked really, really, really hard.
So I was asking you, you say your mom, right? You grew up with your mom. She had 3 jobs and everything. And so for you, what did you actually take away from that in terms of seeing your mom? You love her very much, and she loves you, and she's doing her best to take care of you. But you saw her going through and having 3 different jobs. What did that mean for you?
Well, it could mean a lot of different things to different people, right? You see people who have alcoholic parents, for example, and one person will look at their alcoholic parent and say, you know what? I'm like this because my mom was like this and my dad was like this, so I don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And then you might see another person who never drinks, and you say, man, how come you never drink? You say, well, because my parents were alcoholics.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to have a choice, right? And it's really just how you relate to that struggle that matters.
Definitely.
Right? It's like, I could have looked at that and said, you know what? My parents worked their ass off their entire life. My parents struggled for money, And you know what? Because I'm born into this family, it's my only option too.
Yeah.
But I just looked at it like, you know what? I do have a choice, and I can choose to be just like them, or I can choose to not be like that.
Yeah.
And I saw the suffering, the pain, and the struggle that it put people through, that it put my family through, and I just thought, no, I don't want to do that.
Definitely. So you
I don't want to
basically
continue
use
with
it.
that, and yeah, I used it to make them. I used it to inspire me to make that choice, and to basically to be my reason why, right? Like, your pain and your struggle should never be your excuse. It should be your reason.
Wow. Okay, wait. So that is actually the quote for today, guys. Your pain and your struggle should never be your excuse. It should be your reason. Okay. So if you weren't listening, replay that part. Play it again. Play it again. Your pain, your struggle, not an excuse. Okay, your reason. Good one. Good one. Really, really good takeaway from that. So okay, you use it to push you. You use it to motivate you. But what was the biggest challenge you had on this journey? And, what was that point when you felt like you were going to quit? What did you do to keep yourself grounded, to keep yourself on this path to your motivation, to your goals? What pushed you, and what was that tipping point for you?
I would say, I go through a lot of challenges on a daily basis, just as any entrepreneur would, but I would say, just something that most people can relate to, and something that I really did go through that was probably one of my biggest challenges, was when I went to university. I found that when I was there as an entrepreneur, it's great. University can be great for networking, and I don't ever want to stop someone from going to university. I think there's nothing bad really about it to a certain degree, but as an entrepreneur, it's just not the best deal. And what I mean by that is you're getting mentoring and training for a very high premium price, but this mentoring and training is not based on the results that they're getting. They're just sharing information that's within public domain.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not really that valuable unless you're using it to network, but there's tons of other free networking communities that you wouldn't need necessarily university. So when I first thought about this, I had that thought, and I was like, this does not make logical sense.
I have a question about that. So this is going to be very, what would he say now? One of those riveting statements in the interview, because many people who are watching actually have, like, you know, an opposite belief. But I want you to just tell me more. Are you talking specifically about like entrepreneurship? Because as you are saying, no, most of what I learned from having my own company as well, none of it was through university. It was actually through the networking and through being in other groups that are targeted specifically to the result. You know what I mean? So many persons, they don't, you know, when they think of university, they think it's the be all end all. Yeah. So are you talking about just entrepreneurship, or do you mean like university in general? Because we have some persons who they're, you know, at that point now they're doing their exams, they're planning to go to university.
Well, I mean, it's I think the key is that if you're going to be using university, remember that it's the vehicle. Okay. So if you're going to go across the street, would you save up for 4 years and spend $100,000 on a Porsche to drive across the street? No, you just get up out of your house and walk across the street, right? It's way easier, right? Okay. That's what university is like for most people. Most people don't actually know where they want to go, and then they hop in the most expensive vehicle to get there.
Yeah.
They buy a Porsche to take a bus ride that is like right down the street, right? They want to start a business. So what do? They wait for 4 years. They spend $8,000 a year to learn from someone who makes $50,000 a year, only to realize by the time they did all that, it wasn't really what they had to do. All they really had to do was partner with someone who's already doing with what they're doing, and then they could have just, you know, blown up the first year and had that rest of those 3 years to build their business and not lose money, right? So, but the other thing is that, again, if somebody, it depends on your life path.
Yeah.
This is where I think it's really the most important, is what matters the most is what is it that you want to do, and looking at the end result, and then you go to the person who has already achieved that or something the most similar to that and say to them, hey, how did you get there? Because we live in a world of cause and effect, and if you do one thing, you'll have a certain result, and if you repeat the same causes that one person is doing on a regular basis, your effect and your result is only going to be the same as them over time.
Definitely.
So if you go to a doctor and you say, hey, listen, I love what you do, I absolutely want to be a doctor, I'm 100% sure of it, please just show me the path, and that doctor looks at you and says, you need to go to university first, go to freaking university. Right? It only makes sense because that's the path, that's the way to do it, that's the particular thing that they're using at this time. But if you go and look, you ask someone who's in business, what should I do? Most people who are in business will tell you it's about lifelong learning. You need to become a lifelong learner today, right? Like, you know, if you're going to be in university and you're an entrepreneur, you're probably the type of person who's going to use your homework to get paid, right? We don't wait as entrepreneurs. We don't wait. We don't wait to learn something and then go and apply it maybe a couple months later. No, we learn it because we're needing to apply it right now.
Yeah.
Right? Entrepreneurship is about saying there's a lot of problems in the world and we're out here fixing those problems. And in order for me to fix those problems, I need to really identify what that problem is so I can create a real solution for it.
Definitely. So before we wrap up, I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Think back to that point when, as we were talking about, you know, when you said every day there are challenges, but think about that biggest challenge that you faced. And think about somebody right now, maybe there's somebody watching this who they're facing that exact same challenge, right? What advice do you have for that person? What would you tell them, you know, to help them to overcome that challenge?
I think the biggest challenge that I've had, you know, in my life too, and I think that a lot of people relate to, is just the feeling of stress and how to deal with depression, how to deal with anxiety, how to get yourself out of that. And I found that, you know, a lot of people struggle with this for the same reasons, but they don't actually know why they're struggling with depression. That's the funniest thing. I think I always tell people this. I say, you know, apparently the human beings have about the equivalent of 30 very large hydrogen bombs of worth of energy in our body. So picture you have 30 very large hydrogen bombs in your body at all times, almost, and it replenishes on a daily basis. Okay, so if you have that much energy in your body to start the day, the only way to release that energy is through creative expression, meaning taking the things that you absolutely love to do, fill with your entire heart, and just diving right into that.
Wow.
Like, whether if you're singing, it's singing. If you're writing, it's writing. Whatever it is you love to do, by actually engaging in that is when that creative energy is released.
Yeah.
Okay? So I saw a woman in Starbucks the other day, and she was singing. And I said to her, I bet you're singing right now because it helps you feel better. She's like, what? Yeah, it does. It really soothes me. And I said, of course, because you have 30 hydrogen bombs inside of you. And here's the thing, if you don't sing, if you don't do what you love, if you don't act in complete, utter passion with all your heart on a daily basis, that energy stays in there, and it bubbles, and it festers, and it feels like you're going to explode.
Yeah.
And then what do? We try to suppress it. We try to push it down. We drink, we smoke, we do all these different things to ignore the fact and ignore the real problem. And what's the real problem? Is that a lot of our energy has no direction. Right? And the problem is because most people, they don't have a picture in their mind of what they really want. So if you don't have a picture in your mind of what you really, really want, not what you think you can do and what you know you can do, but what you really want to do, then that energy in your body will not have a direction for it to be released. It's 100% important that you know what your value is, what you love to do, and that you daily and consistently engage in that. If you take massive action on the things that you absolutely love, it's the biggest cure for depression. There is no pill or drug out there that can make you feel better than living your life's purpose.
That's right.
I'm telling you right now.
Wow. And I think that we can honestly sound off with that one, because that is my motto in life. And and I know, like, right now, many of the persons watching the show, they're going through like quarter life crisis, and they're like, what do I do with my life? But you're right. When you find out what you really, really, really want to do, and you actually follow that, go after your passion and follow your dream, things start becoming clear. Things really start to become clear. So thank you so much, Beau. Now
You're very welcome.
tell everyone, where can we find you? How can we find you? Website, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Tell us all the handles. Where can we find you?
I've made it pretty unified for everybody, so you can go to just at Beau Pinto for most stuff. Facebook.com/Beau Pinto, Twitter.com/Beau Pinto, Instagram.com/Beau Pinto. My YouTube, you can search Beau Pinto, or you can type in youtube.com/business tutorials, or you can just go to beaupinto.com. Check me out there. If you guys have any questions, you can add me to any of those platforms and ask me questions. I respond to all the messages. Or what you can do is you can send me an email from my website, which is beaupinto.com. Anybody that has a question for me that maybe not necessarily can afford to work with me at the time, what I do is I try to answer their questions to help them get to that level on YouTube. So I'll try to answer your question, give you a shout out at the same time.
Awesome. And remember, guys, that his contacts, everything he just said, will be above the video. So if you missed it, just look in the description above and you'll see his Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything. And also remember, he will be in the group for all you VIP members. So leave your questions and your comments below, and Beau will be here to answer them, to talk to you, and to give you the advice that you are looking for. All right, guys? So stay tuned. Thank you so much, Beau, and have a great time. Have a great day, and hopefully we can have you on.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you. It was awesome. I had fun.
Definitely. Bye.